Hey, it's Mac from plumbingdeals.com. We have a bunch of customers reach out to us all the time about water filtration. We have a ton of options on the website, from reverse osmosis, single stage filter, point of use filters, a lot of different things. One of our favorite recommendations for someone who's on city water is going to end up being something like this Environmental Water Systems Essential Max Flow water filter. It's an extruded carbon block filter. It's super simple to install. It just goes right under your sink and connects directly to the faucet. So there's no need for a secondary faucet like with a reverse osmosis system. The other nice part is it doesn't have as much waste as a reverse osmosis. So for this, it's just going to go through that single stage filter, and is a really high capacity filter. It can do up to 10,000 gallons. On average, it'll be about a year depending on your usage and water quality. So we're going to jump into installing it here. It's going to be kind of fun. It's real tight under the sink. The angle stops are behind the disposal. So I'm going to do my best to show you exactly what's going on down there. But it should be pretty straightforward. Let's open the box. Let's just open the box. So inside our box, this is going to end up being our filter. Comes sealed. It has a little protective cap over our little threads. This is going to be our head unit. Comes with some fittings in here so we can get it attached to our angle stop and have our water line flow through here. These are all nice, simple push fittings, so not too hard to install. Comes with a couple of screws. This is for a mounting bracket. Here's our mounting bracket. Really simple. Couple of screws here. Slides right in, mounts on your inside of your cabinet, and then our head unit gets mounted right here. Spot for a couple more screws. This is handy. We're probably not going to use this. One of my favorite things about this water filter is the fact that the bottom of our actual filter is flat. So it actually can sit right on the bottom of your cabinet, and it's really nice and easy to be able to get to, so changing filters is a breeze. Have all of our instructions, kind of gives you everything you need. Runs through a parts list as well. And of course, we have a couple of poly lines for connecting the water filter. So our first step, once we get under the sink, we're going to take your angle stop. This is a quarter turn. You might have a multi-turn. Either way, we're going to turn the water off. And then this fitting right here is a 3/8 fitting. That's actually a compression fitting, so you just need to basically thread it onto your angle stop, tighten it pretty good. Sometimes I like to give it a quarter turn with a wrench, and then our water lines that come with the filter are color coded. So the top of this is white. We're going to end up inserting this right in here. Just give it a good push, and that's installed. From here, this is going to go to the top of our head unit on this white side right here. This pulls out. And then our blue line is going to go in right here and adapt to the faucet. All right, so once we have the line from the angle stop into this side of the head unit, then we're going to pull out this little guy and throw our blue line in. Little push, make sure that guy's in there. Adapting to the faucet, at this end, pretty straightforward. We have two fittings. We have this brass fitting, which is going to be 3/8 on this side, and then this is going to end up being 1/2 inch, and we have a 1/2 inch push fitting connection that also threads right in here. I might suggest you can hit this with a little like Teflon tape or something like that. Because there's a gasket inside of here, it's not necessary. We're going to tighten that up with a couple of wrenches. Then this will push right into here. And then on this side, we're going to connect the 3/8 supply line to our faucet on the cold side right to this. We're going to dive under the sink, try to show you what we can. We already mentioned it's pretty tight under there. We'll get to the install. Installing the filter, super simple. Pop off our little protective blue cap. We have a couple of O-rings here. They'll have a little bit of lubrication on them. And there's a really nice guide on the back of this. It says unlock and lock. And you'll see these grooves up top. You're going to find a nice little spot in here, and you'll feel it slide up. And then you're just going to turn, and then this is locked. Installing the filter, pop off your little protective cap. And then this is grooved to fit in here. And you'll see kind of on the back of this, it'll tell you to unlock and lock, letting you know the direction. So right now, you'll push it up, and then you're just going to turn it, and you'll feel it click into place. Always recommend using a backer. I'm going to use a couple of channel locks here, and we'll just tighten this. Should be all it needs. And now we're going to be able to get our supply line on this side. Let's jump under the sink and try to show you what we can. All right, so we're going to start by getting the water off here. This is a 1/4 turn valve, which is pretty nice. Highly recommend using a backer here. I'm going to have a tough time with that, but I'm going to do it. You always want to play it safe. And once that's broken, you should be able to just thread that off. All right. And then this guy threads right on here. And then once I get it pretty hand tight, I want to go ahead and tighten this up a touch. Make sure you get some kind of backer on the angle stop. You're not going to be able to see much of this because my hands will be in the way, but we're trying out here. Here's our supply line for our faucet. Delta, super nice. They color code these sometimes. I think most of the time at this point. And this will just thread right onto our adapter. And then, can't say it enough, get a backer on it. Should be nice and tight. So we have a ton of extra line in here. I'm really not too concerned about it. We can always kind of get this situated so it's behind our filter and sits nice and pretty under the cabinet. I'm gonna open the faucet, turn our angle stop back on, and we should be in business. All right, we're gonna turn the water on. It's gonna push a little air out of the line because obviously this filter had a bunch of air in it. So after that pushes through the faucet, they recommend you run it for around 10 minutes. And at that point, you guys should be fully clear. All the debris and everything from the water line, everything else that can be pushed through the filter is gonna be through it, and you'll have really nice, clean tasting drinking water. All right, and that's a wrap. So if you have any questions on the EWS Max Flow, let us know down below in the comments. But it goes in really nice and easy. Get nice, clean water all the time. Great for coffee, pasta, obviously drinking water. It's pretty easy. I'm a big fan, and I recommend it almost any time I'm talking about a kitchen faucet, just because water quality is so dang important. Once again, like and subscribe, follow for more. Check us out at plumbingdeals.com. Thanks.